I was here before LNG. I don't see where LNG should stop me.
For decades, Philip Dyson's been making a living shrimping and harvesting oysters off the coast of Cameron. That was until this was completed 2 years ago. A decline in air and water quality, increased ship traffic and dredging have all reduced Philip's catch by half since this plant was built a few miles from his home.
This was a fishing town for hundreds of years. My daddy was a fisherman here. Then I'm a fisherman here. I got my son and my grandson's a fisherman here. You tell me you can't fish here because they got an LNG ship? Why kill one industry to have another?
Those sentiments of part despair, part defiance run deep amongst the few who still remain in this community. But they're being tested again. A second, bigger gas project here could threaten their livelihoods even more. That $10 billion project called Calcasieu Pass 2 is planned for here, to this patch, even closer inland. Approval for now is on hold while a review's conducted into the potential financial and environmental impacts of shipping 24 million tonnes of LNG per year. If built, it would look something like this, a separate huge terminal under construction just down the coast. And if all planned terminals in this Gulf region go ahead, that would result in over 3 billion tonnes of greenhouse gases released each year, close to the annual emissions of the entire European Union. Some here argue that's at odds with President Biden's goal of net zero emissions by 2050.
We, along with most of the other nations on the planet, are saying we're going to figure out a way to reel in the fossil fuels. How does it make sense for us to build a fleet of LNG production and export facilities if we're also saying we're going to not only reduce our emissions, we're going to help our friends do so? Doesn't make sense.
The pollution in Louisiana is already pushing many people away from coastal areas. Last month, a group of them took the fight to Washington, where they met with administration officials.
What we wanted to see happen is for the Department of Energy to actually consider what the public interest is and to incorporate what we know already about the economics of this, that exporting gas from the U.S. drives up domestic prices and the food prices for everyday consumers.
The State Department told us that as the world's largest LNG exporter, the US has a critical role in helping to address energy security globally, and that it's committed to producing fossil energy in the least climate-damaging way possible. But like the current one, the proposed plant in Cameron would sit by a rapidly eroding shoreline. Its owner, Venture Global, which claims its critics are, quote, completely out of touch with reality, has violated pollution permits hundreds of times. And its actions could contribute to rising temperatures and sea levels, exacerbating the risk to the vulnerable, low-lying ground on which it operates, causing even greater disruption to Philip and his family. Benji Hire, CGTN, Cameron, Louisiana.